Hi, I'm Andrea, and this is the Mainstream Reiki YouTube channel. I'm really glad that you're here for today's video, where I'm going to offer a Distance Reiki review. It's come to my attention lately, with all the focus as a result of the pandemic on Distance Reiki sessions, that there are a lot of students out there who aren't really confident in offering Distance Reiki sessions. So I hope this video helps build your confidence and gets you out there helping more people over a distance, because we really need more Reiki right now. All that's really required to conduct a Distance Reiki session are a Reiki practitioner, usually level 2, with attunement to the Distance Reiki symbol, and the person who is given permission and wants to receive the Reiki energy from you. Aside from those two things, there are some other things that might help you and focus during the session, but just how that looks is up to you. I want to cover a few different things, and I also want to share what I have found over the years that works for me and what I do now in my Reiki distance sessions. I found that having a point of focus during the Distance Reiki is helpful. And what I mean by that is a surrogate. Whether you draw a stick figure on an index card like I used to do many, many years ago, you can also use a body outline like that. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. You can use a teddy bear or a pillow or other kind of stuffed animal. Or today, I just use a crystal for my point of focus. And so let me talk briefly about these things, and then we'll move on and talk a little bit more about the details of how to do a session. Obviously, if you use a stick figure or a body outline or the teddy bear, obviously it's going to be pretty different than a big life-size person. But that's okay, because Reiki just needs our intention, and I often find visualizing very helpful. So, for example, if I were to use a teddy bear for my session and I put my hands on the teddy bear's ears, obviously they're different than a person's ears. But in my mind, I'm just imagining and visualizing and intending that my hand would be on their ear or on their hand or shoulder, wherever it is. You're intending, you're visualizing, and Reiki makes it so. Something else to take note of is any impressions that came to you, or images or anything like that comes up during the Reiki session. It's a great idea to record those for reference later. That way, when you compare notes with the person that you offered the Reiki to, you can kind of see and double check your notes to see if that stuff lines up. It can be really interesting, and you can learn a lot about your Reiki practice from those notes and the feedback you get. That's what makes something like this really useful, because it gives you the blanks right here on the top, the name of the client. And of course, I always use the word client for whoever it is receiving Reiki, whether you're professional or not. You can also record the focus if they had one, the date of the session, and then the time you started the session and the time you ended. And the neat thing about this too is with this outline, you can draw on here, or you can write on here, or put arrows, or even use colored pencils or anything like that you want to make a visual representation of the session if you wanted to. It's just another option. If you really want to go out there and be creative, you could even take a photo of this and text or email it to your client afterwards so that they have that to go on from the session. It gives you a lot to talk about afterwards and a great opportunity to receive feedback. I'll talk to you a little bit more now about the use of the crystal, because this is what I have settled on in my Distance Reiki sessions. When I do Distance Reiki for a client, I gather up a few things and I sit in one of my favorite chairs. And what I get is I get my crystal that I use in my sessions. It's a Lemurian quartz crystal, and I have that. I also use a pen and just a blank sheet of note paper. I get my phone, and I also get an old iPad with the app Voice Memos on it, because at the end of the session, I record the conversation I have with them at the end, because it often has useful information for them. And then I email that audio file to them after the session. That's what my sessions are like. That's really all I need. So let's talk about how to actually do the session. Even with all the technology out there of Skype and Zoom and all of that fun stuff, I still use the phone. And one reason I like using the phone for Distance Reiki sessions is Confessions of a Reiki Master. I'm often in my pajamas when I do my sessions, so I don't have to get dressed up or do anything special. I can just walk in here, gather my things, sit down, and call my client. Regardless of how you contact your client or whoever it is you're offering Reiki to, you'll just want to touch base with them and see if there's a focus that they have for the session. If they haven't had Reiki before, you might include a short introduction about Reiki and what they might expect in the session. I then instruct the person to hang up, go relax, and that's for 2 reasons. The first reason is that they deserve a break and just have time out, time to themselves, just like they would do if we were in person. The second reason for them to relax is that they're better able to tune into themselves, to feel any energetic sensations, but also they are better able to recognize insights or aha moments that may come through during the session. While we're off the phone during that time, what I'm doing is the Reiki session, largely like we were together in the office. What that looks like is I take my crystal and I lay it a certain way because in my mind, this is the head of the person and these are the feet of the person. So I lay it in my hand and I do something like this. I take a breath in. This is a Japanese Reiki technique, Jeki Kiri Jokaho, and we clear the energy of the crystal. Take a breath in. And using the holy fire symbol, I use this technique to clear away all the other energies that are not purely in resonance with the natural quality of this crystal. I then intend that this crystal is my client and they are here with me. I will put my hand just like this over the crystal, and in my mind I'm seeing both my hands over the crystal, like I would if they were with me. But I often keep the crystal in one hand and just really use one hand in order to do my hand placements over the crystal. Of course, the crystal's really small, but in my mind, it isn't small at all. In my mind, I'm seeing my hands at all these different locations on or off their body. So it works beautifully. I'll often get insights about what's going on with the person energetically, different things about their life, all kinds of different things, and even channeled messages at times. And that's where the pad of paper comes in. I have that right next to me. If I write, you see they're still in my hand, and I'm just writing the notes down as they come. This is what I go over with the client the last 15 minutes of the session, the part I audio record and then email to them. But, that's a formal session. What do you do if you're just going to do distance Reiki? Well, remember this. Let me go into a little bit more detail. Whatever you're going to use for your surrogate, whether it's a teddy bear, a stick figure, the body outline, it doesn't really matter. But what you're going to do as the practitioner is you're going to activate the distance symbol, however it is you like to do that. Some people like to draw it on each palm and say its name silently 3 times like this. Some people just chant the name of the distance symbol in their mind and intend to have that energy flow and connect with whoever they're sending the Reiki to. But it doesn't really matter how you activate your symbols. Do it the way you would normally do it. So you activate the distance symbol and any other symbols that you're attuned to, and then you begin your session really just like they were there with you. The only difference is you're visualizing your hands on their body or off their body in their biofield. You can use the same exact techniques. You can biosense scan their body on something small like this. When you scan, your whole hand is covering it. But no, because your intention is, okay, I'm scanning their forehead. I'm scanning over their nose. I'm scanning their throat. So you're just, in your mind, you're determining where your hand is. And I'm telling you, it works every single time. So if that's a little hard for you to do, just practice that. As with all things with Reiki, everything gets easier, better, and more sensitive the more you practice. You go ahead and finish your whole session the way you would normally do it. And don't forget at the end, I always like to ground them. The neat thing about this is when I want to ground them, I just turn their little body and I'm at their feet. So it's really super convenient. And then I can just ground them at the end. I seal in their energy with the power symbol, just like I would normally do in person. And then I go down their body, just like I would in person, just sort of closing down their biofield, just completing the session and intending that their energy now be nice and grounded. I've been offering another thing online, and that's a Zoom Reiki Share. And if you ever want to come to one of those, you'll just need to sign up for my email list and I'll send you invitations. And you can also check my Facebook page at Mainstream Reiki for any upcoming dates for those Zoom Reiki Shares. So what do we do with those? Do we have to have crystals and all of this? No. How we do it in there is we use breakout rooms. You'll be in a small group and you can just sit and look at the person. And if they don't even have their video on, that's okay. You just intend, you activate your distance symbol and intend to connect with Reiki with that person and send it to them. Now, in a Reiki share, you can scan, you can use Gyoshi Ho, that's sending Reiki with the eyes, which I teach that in level 2. It's an awesome technique, but we can do that and we can just send Reiki in a very general way to that person. You know, in a setting like that, I don't really look for anything intuitive when I do that. I'm just simply offering the energy. It's just a little bit less personal in that setting because we're really not going to chat about it afterwards, and it's not really a formal session, but I would send Reiki in a general way to them for their highest good, of course. But please remember, Distance Reiki is very simple. Again, you just need the Distance Reiki symbol, someone who's given permission and would like to receive the Reiki energy for their highest good, and a helpful component is a surrogate. It just helps you focus more and keep your mind on the session at hand. I find that my mind wanders more if I don't have a point of focus. You can offer the Reiki in a more general way, like in a Zoom Reiki Share type situation, or you can conduct more of a formal session where you do all the hand placements and use the other Reiki techniques that you're familiar with. I hope what I've said today can help you with confidence offering Distance Reiki. And if you still have questions, if I left something out that's important, please ask me down in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer you in a timely manner. I'm also offering online Reiki courses, all levels, live, in person, on Zoom. We even practice a lot, and I'm confident of the quality of instruction and level of energy and all the attunements. If you want to find out more, go to mainstreamreiki.com. Thanks for watching, and as always, I wish you the highest Reiki blessings.